give a round of applause to all of the U.S. postal workers who are here today serving other people. And this goes for anybody, a teacher, a postal worker, a veteran, a VA worker, anybody who's under attack right now.
I am proud to be the representative of the National Association of Letter Carriers here, Alamo Branch 421 in San Juan and the surrounding area. I would like to start by thanking my union brothers, letter carriers. Where you at? Hell no! I personally want to thank, and I sure like to hear this year, our community family that is here in support of the letter carriers and the postal service. Yeah, that's all.
I had the duty to fight this, along with our other union members in the Postal Service, the other unions around the city, and all around the country, and all our American supporters all over the country. And good news, we beat them then, and we're going to beat them now. So let's continue to fight, let's keep pushing, and let's fight like hell. Thank you.
Hell no! Hell no!
Hell no!
My name is Dan Torres. I'm Director of Retirees for the National Association of Letter Carriers, Alamo Branch 421. I've been a member of this union since 1982, and I'm proud to say that through that time we have fought many efforts to privatize the Postal Service, to try to do things to hurt us, to take money from the Postal Service to use in the federal budget. Although the Postal Service is congressionally mandated, and it is older than the country itself.
All right, everybody, thank you for being here today on a Sunday afternoon. What a great day to be here in front of the Hippolito Garcia U.S. Post Office Federal Building. I worked on the 4th floor here, and my agency is going to be shut down. There are 75 agencies that have a footprint here in Bexar County, and we're just one of them. And we do not want to see the Postal Service, the letter carriers, or the APWU folks go down. So thank you for being here and showing up. But my dear sister with the Bexar County Democratic Party, I serve as a precinct chair. And one of the things that we do is we promote vote by mail. And we wouldn't have it if it wasn't for our letter carriers, if it wasn't for our postal workers. Thanks to our postal workers to be able to vote by mail. And even today, they're still trying to push back on that.
Let me say this. I know we also have somebody, Alexis from Joaquin Castro's office. Thank you so much for being here. Don't know if we have any other representative, but I want to thank my colleagues because we have signed on to a HR 70 where we say no to privatization of the Postal Service. And I ask all members to go ahead and sign that on. I want to make 3 points today. The first point is that the Postal Service is a constitutional institution. The U.S. Constitution, Article 1, Section 8, empowers Congress to establish a post office and the postal work. So you have a constitutional responsibility, and we need to make sure that we protect that constitutional responsibility. And another thing that we've been talking about, we pass it in the House, we need to get it in the Senate also, is for members of Congress like Joaquin, myself, can go into a postal office and don't have to wait 2 or 3 weeks to get permission and go inspect the working condition of you to make sure that you get air conditioned water like everybody.
I'm Alicia. I can't do that.
Yeah, you can. Come on.
I'm Alicia Gutierrez. I'm from Beacon Hill Post Office. I've been with the company for 3 years. It's been awesome for me and my kids, and we're here to stop the privatization. It helps our rural customers as well as our third-party vendors.
My name's Joe. I'm a steward at Northeast Carrier Annex. I've been in the post office over 33 years. And I'm doing this to let the public know that America needs to have affordable and constitutional rights to their mail being delivered no matter where they live.
Ernest Gonzalez, Alamo Branch 421, San Antonio, Texas. Shop steward, former executive council member, National Coordinating Committee member with Build the Fighting NALC, and the chair of the Southeastern Branch for Build the Fighting NALC. The purpose for the rallies that we had today was to put out a display of solidarity amongst all of the individual groups within the NALC that seem to have, maybe they don't agree on everything, and maybe they have some differences of opinion. And one thing that we can all agree on is that there is a privatization effort that's been basically being shoved down our throats, and most other government agencies as well. And the Southeastern Branch is basically in line with the fact that we are very tired of the idea that working class people do not deserve the right to have any public programs if they don't at the same time make money. And that's just not a belief system that we hold true and we think is doing wrong by working class people. I would have loved to come to you from the podium at the event, but I was behind a set of cameras the entire time, and leadership here assured me that there was plenty of speakers. So as I'm sitting here and going through the footage from the rally yesterday, putting together the video that you guys are currently watching, the announcement for the arbitration award for our contract was officially released, and I wasn't surprised. It's very typical of very typical behavior of Brian, which is another reason why I didn't really fight tooth and nail to get on that podium either. I was surprised that it dropped within 24 hours, but I did want to have an opportunity to see, after we did our part, as far as Build the Fighting NALC is concerned, with allowing the NALC leadership all over the country to try to meet us halfway. We'll organize a rally, we'll get the materials, and we'll sanction it or sponsor it or whatever terminology you want to put behind it. And then within 24 hours later, okay, you guys have said your piece, you guys have had your rallies. By the way, here's what we worked on last week that we purposely held on until Monday for. It's disheartening, And this is why, in my opinion, that groups like Build the Fighting NALC are very important. It's not that we are trying to be divisive, but we will have conversations, and more than likely, we're not going to agree on things. That just means you are a free-thinking person in a free society. If you and somebody else agree on every single thing, one of you is not necessary in the discourse of that conversation. So the apparatus of just continue to attack Trump and attack Elon Musk and, in a sense, attack all of the over 70 million people who voted for him, who are also working class people, I don't think that that's the approach to take. If it's just going to turn into an anti-Trump rally, at that point, all you're doing is championing the Democratic Party. And I have my issues with the Democratic Party. I've been very vocal about this. I did not vote in the last presidential election. Not to say that I'm proud of that by any stretch of the imagination, but I did not accept the way the Democratic Party went about this election process. It's the only time in my adult life that I've never voted for president, by the way. The course of voting for the lesser of two evils has gotten us to the point that we are now, to the point where basically half of the country's workforce feels like they don't have a candidate, or that Donald Trump, with all of his issues, at least seems to be more authentic than whoever it is that the Democratic Party happens to put up. And I completely understand where they're coming from. You know, again, this is not me agreeing with Trump or anything, but this is me understanding what all of those voters are seeing when they hear him speak. If you have a history of just putting up these very polished individuals who 9 times out of 10 don't honestly believe the words that are coming out of their mouth, and then when they do get into power, it seems that they either take a very stagnated approach, or they come up with all the excuses in the world, or they seem to no longer hold true to the promises that they made the working class people when they were running for that position that they ultimately got. And for that, I think that the working class is right now in a very detrimental situation where they feel, for most people, I think that most honest workers don't feel they have a real party right now. And so movements like Build the Fighting NALC, movements like the Concerned Letter Carriers are unbelievably essential. And especially when you see what happens now, you'll start to see what it is that Build the Fighting NALC was fighting for in the first place. $30 an hour starting wages, the necessity for something like an open bargaining agreement, or open bargaining when we're going through a national agreement, and the right to strike. I mean, we have no more bargaining chips at this point. Now we just have to hope that we can elect a representative that will do right by us. So when the next negotiating period comes up in a couple years, hopefully they'll fight for us the way that Brian had promised he was going to fight for us. And I think that is a way to put yourself in a losing battle. I don't conform to that ideology. I don't think I ever will. And at this point, we are going to continue to organize the group that we set out to organize. I think that the labor movement as a whole can benefit from it. If you can start a real labor movement with a craft that happens to be in every corner of the country, the likelihood that you can all of a sudden start labor movements that otherwise wouldn't be there becomes highly likely. And it's something that the working class people of America badly need right now. If we do not start to honestly put the working class people in the driver's seat, the billionaire class is not going to stop taking basic services that we've worked all our lives through.